So today is Friday, April Fools. Welcome world, April Fools. But I have found that the excitement from Sunday at the Oscars has created some real interesting behavior in the world. And it does seem to be that the whole world is aware of the slap. The slap, yeah. Isn't that interesting? There's a war going on in Europe. There's the U.S. Congress, the Senate, and the House are taking away the rights of anybody who's gay, transgender, anybody who's the least bit different than the people that are in there. And we have children who are being abused. It's like, what the heck is it that it is such a big deal that this has superseded all the news, and it's taken away from paying attention to what's going on in our government, what's going on around the world. It's really been interesting. And you see, the two people, well, Will Smith, I've only seen a couple of his things because he wasn't really in my type of genre. And his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, I don't think I've ever seen her in anything other than some ads about how she was going to tell him how she was involved with one of their kids' friends and whatever. And I know they had been always talking about they have an open marriage and everything. So I actually thought that, Chris's comment about G.I. Jane 2 was a compliment because the first movie was so phenomenal that Demi Moore did, and it showed that women were as competent as men, which seems to be something we're always having to do. But in general, I didn't see where it was an insult. And then I've noticed that since all this is going on, the news has taken it over. It's been on the internet, on every form there is. And the one thing I feel that I notice is, because I worked with a lot of domestic abuse and that, is that what was it that triggered him, to, when she rolled her eyes? So what is the control situation in that relationship? And if there is that much control and they supposedly have an open marriage and they're all this and that, why didn't she stop him from going up there? I mean, she had time. She was sitting right there. I mean, she could, when he went to stand up, she could have said, nope, come on. I mean, come on. Most of us who've been married for a few years, there is a look that we give our spouses. I mean, there's the mother look you give your kids, but I mean, there's a look. I mean, you know what's acceptable and what's not. And then there's, the fact that after he did it and he hit Chris Rock, he came back looking so smug, and then he turns around and she was laughing, some of the videos have shown, and he then goes into this big tirade. Now, what I don't understand was, part of this, was it the complications of their marriage, if you want to call it, whatever it is, or is it more than that? Was she jealous of him getting, that they pretty much said it was a wash, he was definitely going to get the Oscar? Did she want to one-up him? Was it gaslighting on her part towards him? I don't know. I do know, though, that I feel so sorry for the people who came after him, and for those that got the awards. The one that Chris announced right afterwards was a documentary somebody had worked on for years and might never have a chance to do anything like that again. And then Coda, which was just amazing. But what about the fact that Lady Gaga had Liza Minnelli out there, giving out the award for Coda? How come they don't mention her kindness and how generous she was for Liza, who has encephalitis? I mean, she's quite ill with problems. I mean, I did have somebody I know who, when I first posted that he should be removed, said that if their spouse, somebody had said something to their spouse and it hurt their spouse, that they'd probably go and hit somebody. And I'm like, why? They're words. They're just words. And the other thing is, it kind of reiterates the division in this country where the rich can do what they want and they get the power. The money is the power. And yet there was so much more talent that came out and they were up there. And I give not Amy Poehler, but I drew a blank. My brain is farting. But I give the three ladies that were doing such a great job entertaining. And then to come out afterwards and, she says, did I miss something? And she managed to get the whole crowd to lighten up. And there's some criticism that Chris Rock didn't handle the way he introduced the award for the one award. But think about the shock he was in. Think about how he maintained his composure. So, granted, Will Smith hit him, but I also feel that Jada was part of the problem. I mean, she was the one that he reacted to. Now, was she at fault? No, she didn't go up and hit poor Chris Rock. Was she kind of inactive on it? Did she not take any kind of responsibility to try to keep her husband, calm down? Yeah, I think she is partially responsible for that, because I don't care who you are. I mean, my husband, I've been on stage and, I've been such a wreck going on stage because I had such horrible stage fright that for years, his job, he said, was, he goes, she's the diva and I'm the group. And he says, I'm the stage manager and everything. And I make sure things are going to work out for her. And when Al would go on stage, I'd do the same for him. So being on stage is a responsibility that you act like an adult. You behave yourself. I mean, granted, I've seen things like, the Streaker with David Niven, and I've seen, like Marlon Brando had the wonderful lady that had been a Native American come on and protest how the Native Americans were protested. We had Michael Moore who came out and protested, but nobody hit anybody. And the thing that bothers me the most is some of the responses to some of the things. And I have to say, there was some really nasty responses I saw. And it was like, wow, it's okay to hit somebody, especially on an international stage. It's okay that somebody said something which, by the way, I still don't understand why it was so derogatory. I mean, she had alopecia. There's thousands and thousands of people with alopecia. She went on her Instagram account and even, shaved it all off. So if Chris didn't have the knowledge of it, I mean, Black Panther, the women there had their heads shaved. I've seen so many other women of color who do some extraordinary design with fashion in that. It was a fashion show. It always is, the Oscars. So I thought this was just her fashion statement. And to be called G.I. Jane too, I thought, oh, he's just saying how powerful she looks and everything. So I guess a lot of that takes, you take into effect how super sensitive some people are. And if you're that super sensitive, maybe you shouldn't be putting out your whole life on the internet. I mean, there are people that are on YouTube that have done some extraordinary things, and on Instagram and on TikTok, and that they're doing wonderful things. And then there's people that are very narcissistic, and that's all they want to do, is they just want you to be following them and loving them and whatever. But the reality is that this incident, first it said the police didn't do anything. Well, yeah, they did. Then the Oscar committee didn't do anything. Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of controversy as to what they did. The fact that people stood up and applauded him for winning the Academy Award. Well, that's kind of the norm, but also not so much. I mean, I've never seen that many people stand up at the Oscars. The Academy, or they let him speak longer than they've ever let anybody else speak. Personally, he should have been removed from the floor. He should have been removed from the building, because that's assault. And I don't care if somebody said something that hurt my spouse's feelings or my children's feelings. You still don't hit. I mean, if you tell children, use your words. These are actors. These are, singers and rappers and use your bloody words. I mean, you people, the one thing my husband used to say, whoa, this is a clusterfuck. And he's right. That's exactly what happened here. And the thing that really bothers me is the wonderful other talented people who did not get their time. They gave him a long speech time, but other people and the presenters were still in shock from it. There was no time for people to kind of get it, wrap their minds around what happened. And yet, the fact that he got the Oscar doesn't bother me, because that was something he did before. But he should not be allowed back. I mean, I'm sorry. Harvey Weinstein, I believe it was, they didn't let him back. They didn't let Bill Cosby back. And they didn't even hit anybody, I guess. I mean, well, they were sexual predators. That's even multiple levels worse. But to not even apologize to Chris Rock when you're doing this rambling little speech about getting your award, that just, nah. He doesn't need to be in the Academy anymore. He doesn't need to have that forum where he can do whatever he wants. He reminds me of the former president who said he could walk down Fifth Avenue in New York and shoot and kill somebody, and he wouldn't get any kind of punishment for it. That kind of mentality just it's not helping anywhere. And we see it in our own government. I mean, we're seeing it. I live in Michigan, and our governor has there's a trial going for the guys that wanted to kill her and murder her. No, this open hostility and this divisiveness that we have in this country, it's very, very saddening to see. And I don't really have an answer on how to solve it. But man, don't worship these people like that. I mean, there's still people worshiping the former president. And the man doesn't deserve any kind of recognition whatsoever. In fact, he should be taken off of our records of being president. He's so bad. And the fact that now he's even wanting his buddy Putin and him to join forces, when Putin's war, he's killing thousands and thousands of people for absolutely no reason, just his ego. This is my opinion. I know some people are going to get pissed off if they watch this whole thing. But this is what I think. I'm an individual. I'm entitled to my opinion. But I'm not going to go bitch slap somebody because they said something to me. I was raised to be a free thinker. I was raised that you can have an opinion, and it's like everybody has an asshole, my great-grandpa said. Some of them just smell better. And this is my opinion, and I'm giving my opinion. Thank you.